Welcome to today's Explainer. Look, if you're a 7th grader trying to decode the secrets of what you're actually reading in Unit 2, Lesson 3, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're taking on a special mission. We're going to put on our detective hats to uncover exactly how nonfiction writers build credibility and influence us, their readers. Every single time you read an article, a speech, or a true story, the author is leaving a trail of clues designed to make you think or feel a very certain way. Our job today is to learn how to track those clues, figure out the writer's true intent, and then prove it using the text itself. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is the roadmap for today's structured investigation. We'll start with the lineup covering forms and vocabulary, then look out for the trap, a super common misconception. After that, we'll get into the investigation for some worked practice, and finally, the interrogation for a quick student check. All right, part 1, the lineup. Nonfiction forms and clues. Just like a detective has to spot a disguise, we need to know the different forms that nonfiction can actually take. It's not just one thing, right? We're talking biographies about someone's entire life, memoirs covering specific, powerful personal experiences, essays exploring particular topics, articles giving you the news to get you informed, and arguments where the writer is literally trying to persuade you to take their side. But honestly, no matter the disguise, our mission is exactly the same. We have to analyze the structure to find the author's real purpose. To find that purpose, we need the motive. And in nonfiction, we call that the claim. Think of the claim as the absolute beating heart of the text. It's the main point, the big idea, the central argument the writer desperately wants you to walk away believing. If you haven't found the claim, well, you haven't solved the mystery yet. But hey, a claim by itself, that is not going to convince anyone. A writer has to build a case. Enter reasons. A reason is just the logical explanation for why the claim is true. It bridges the gap between what they want you to believe and why you should actually buy into it. It's how the author starts connecting with your logical side. And this brilliantly brings us to our final, and honestly, most important clue: evidence. You can't just throw out a claim and a reason without hard proof. Evidence consists of the specific facts, the real-world examples, or the direct quotes backing up the reason. It is undeniable. It's literally the physical fingerprint at the crime scene that proves intent. Without evidence, a reason is just a thought. But with it, you've got a compelling case. Moving on to part 2, the trap, a common nonfiction misconception. So the crucial point here is avoiding a massive trap that trips readers up all the time when they're analyzing and summarizing these texts. It's all about understanding the difference between summarizing what the text actually says versus accidentally mixing in your own feelings. If you're summarizing and injecting your own opinion, like saying, "Oh, this article was super boring," or "The author is just wrong because I disagree," you've fallen in the trap. You're no longer analyzing their intent, you're just talking about yourself. A true detective stays completely neutral, summarizing the claim, the reasons, and the evidence exactly as they were presented without any personal bias. All right, part 3, the investigation. Let's get into some worked practice. Let's put these skills to the test in real time. Whenever you crack open a new piece of nonfiction, you've got to follow 3 essential steps. Step 1, identify the text structure. Basically, what form is this taking? Step 2, determine the author's intent. What's the claim? What do they want you to believe? And step 3, cite textual evidence. Find that specific, hard proof in the text itself that backs up the intent. Let's walk through one together. Now, what's really interesting here is this short text acting as our active crime scene. Listen to this. Memoirs build credibility by sharing a person's lived experiences. Because these stories are firsthand, they heavily influence how readers understand historical events. Okay, so what is the author actually doing here? They're making a point about how memoirs work to influence us. Let's break this right down into our claim, reason, and evidence. Here's the exact blueprint to see how they built it. First, we pull the main claim from the text. Memoirs influence how we understand history. Got it? Next, we look for the reason why this happens. It's because they share lived experiences. And finally, the evidence, the undeniable fact backing this up. The stories are firsthand. Do you see how perfectly that clicks together? The first-hand nature of the story acts as evidence, proving it's a lived experience, which is the reason, which ultimately proves it influences our understanding, the claim. The author's structure is totally by design to shape what you understand. Which brings us to part 4, the interrogation. Your turn. You've seen how it's done, so let's do a quick student check to test out your new analytical skills. Imagine you're reading an article, and the author writes this sentence. For example, the data shows a 50% increase. I want you to think like an investigator for a second. Is that sentence functioning as the main claim? Is it a reason, or is it evidence? Take a second and lock in your answer.
If you guessed evidence, you absolutely nailed it. Why? Because it is a specific, cited fact. We literally have a statistic of 50%. It isn't a broad argument or a logical explanation. It is the hard proof used to back up a reason. Anytime you see phrases like, for example, or the data shows, your internal alarm should be ringing, signaling that evidence is being dropped right in front of you to support a claim.
So as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a crucial question to take with you. Next time you read an article or an essay or a memoir, don't just passively read the words. Analyze them. Ask yourself, how is this writer using evidence to build credibility and influence me? What exactly is their claim? What are their reasons? And what real proof are they giving me? Once you start reading like a detective, you'll never look at nonfiction the same way again. Thanks for investigating with me today, and keep analyzing.